All right, we're wrapping up the first round, pushing the pile mock draft here. Getting to pick 26, Los Angeles Rams. Kyle, you're on the clock.
Maxwell Hairston, cornerback, Kentucky. Now, I know that people aren't like, yeah, he's the best corner that we've ever seen, but this guy runs a 4.28, and I'll be honest with you, they need corners in Los Angeles. They've got a lot of young guys in the secondary there, and if you're going to have youth, you might as well have a lot of youth, so you got options there. And I know it's at number 26, you're going to want one of these flashy positions, but at the corner position, I think you can never have too many corners.
And the Rams just don't have man corners, man. He is a man corner. Maxwell Hairston can go mano-a-mano. He has those sort of traits. They don't have that, so they don't try to play man. But it's not because you don't want to, or don't need to, or don't have to at times. You definitely do. Like there are situations where if you're not playing man, you're behind the 8 ball. But don't have that. So Maxwell Hairston, the pick there, 26. All right, 27. I have the Baltimore Ravens. This guy's fallen. I've seen him fallen in a lot of mock drafts of late. His range of where he could go is all the way from like pick 9 to down here realistically, and it's Shamar Stewart, the defensive end from Texas A&M, because I think the book's out on him. Everyone knows he is the most explosive, impressive athlete in this defensive end class. He is also the least productive pass rusher in this defensive end class of like the real top guys, right? So who's going to take that chance? I don't know. If I'm going to trust anyone's track record of developing those sort of talents, it's the Baltimore Ravens. They've been exceptional at it. So, Shamar Stewart to the Ravens.
Okay, Shamar Stewart. I'm really looking forward to watching that guy play in the league because there's going to be so many questions that are going to be answered.
Those are my favorite guys, just like watching.
Willie Lampkin on the offensive side of the ball, the 5'11 center. He's 260 pounds, 5'11, and he's out there kicking ass in college. I'm interested to see if it works. And for this guy, Shamar Stewart, who's built like an absolute Adonis, I want to find out if it can translate. So that's the Ravens at 27. The Lions have the 28th pick. It's going to be Josh Connerly Jr., offensive tackle, University of Oregon. Now, they've already got an Oregon man in this offensive line. They've got some aging. They've got some seniors in that room. Obviously, one of the guard spots is up for grabs there. But you can maintain that level of dominance on your offensive line. You bring a guy like Josh Connerly in there. He can plug in at the guard position immediately. And when Taylor Decker ends up taking all those chips he's stacked up for this entire decade and goes home, Josh Connerly can maybe slide in there. I think that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, they've got a vision for what they're trying to get accomplished in Detroit, and part of it is investing in the offensive line. We talked at length this offseason about how expensive these O-linemen are getting, and the more guys you can have on a rookie deal, the more guys you're not paying $26 million a year for, the better spot you're going to be in.
All right, at number 29, I have the Washington Commanders going Nick Emanwori, the South Carolina safety, a unique matchup weapon in this draft class. 6'3", over 220 pounds, and oh yeah, he ran in the 4.3s at the combine. Uber explosive, great tackler, just a unique piece to add to Dan Quinn's defense that he can use as a mismatch weapon there.
Okay, so we got Boston College edge rusher coming up next for the Buffalo Bills. And, I think this is just more of a need for the Buffalo Bills than necessarily some prototypical
Look at those arms.
Guy that you have. And obviously, Donovan's not struggling on looking prototypical here physically. But for the Buffalo Bills, what they've been lacking has been a true pass rush, a true winner on the edge. It will complement what they're able to achieve on the interior part of their defense in a great way. We obviously love their off-ball linebackers. We love their attacking defense, the versatility they have on the back end. You throw a guy like this in there, and it really makes all your tools that much sharper.
It's an arms race, and adding those could help.
Donovan Ezeiruaku.
All right, number 31, Kansas State Chiefs. I'm going Josh Simmons, the Ohio State offensive tackle. Not that he's going to start right away. Obviously, I think like him and Connerly, I think the biggest difference between them and like the top guys is that with him, he obviously has the injury to his patella where he might not be ready to go his rookie season. Connerly a little bit more of a project, but I think their, quote unquote ceilings or what they could be year 3 is just as high as the top group we're talking about. Armand Membu, Will Campbell, Kelvin Banks, like those guys that consistently get mocked top 10 to 12. I don't see much difference from a physical tools perspective between them, Connerly, and Simmons. It's just the sort of, how quickly can they make an impact. But with Simmons and the Kansas City Chiefs, yeah, there's other positions you could go, but I think you're shooting for a high ceiling sort of pick here that you'll get a discount because of that patellar injury.
Okay. The last pick here for the Super Bowl champions. Obviously, an exodus there in Philadelphia. A lot of players out the door. That's the cost to be the boss for the Philadelphia Eagles there in terms of roster construction. Jihad Campbell is going to be available. And we love this guy. He is somebody that has played a number of different positions in his career. He was a wide receiver in high school. He was a defensive end.
Not surprising.
He's out there at the linebacker position. You see his 24-season stats. He can get to the quarterback. He's a great tackler. He's somebody that's productive, seemingly a leader. Obviously, we don't know this guy, but you can plug any of these dudes into Philadelphia, and Vic Fangio will find a way to make them even more dangerous. And you bring in this youth, and they learn together, they grow together. You think about the defensive front. Yeah, they're in their second and third years together. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. But then you think about Dean. You think about all these dudes on that defense. They're going to grow together. Get as many stars together as possible. And then next thing you know, you got that Chicago Bears 2000s defense that are together forever. It's all the same names. You can get that with a guy like Jihad Campbell. You got your
Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman combo there for Vic Fangio, although I'm not sure anyone's ever touching Patrick Willis. All right, to recap, 26-32. Rams go Maxwell Hairston, the Kentucky corner. Ravens go Shamar Stewart, the Texas A&M edge. Lions, Josh Connerly, the Oregon offensive tackle. Commanders go Nick Amanwori, the South Carolina safety. Bills, Donovan Ezeiruaku, the edge out of Boston College. Chiefs go Josh Simmons, the Ohio State offensive tackle. And the Eagles round it out with Jihad Campbell, the Alabama linebacker.